Yeah, burnout is bad. Hey guys, just wanted to talk to you a little bit about how to work from home and stay sane and productive while doing so. I really had the idea to do this kind of video a couple of months ago when this whole coronavirus quarantine stuff started going down, and I thought I'd miss my chance. But unfortunately now the numbers here in Florida and across the US seem to be rising, so it looks like we're going to be stuck in this work from home quarantine mode for a little bit longer than we expected. So I really thought I'd like to give you my take on how I'm productive and sane while working from home. So a little bit of backstory from me. So I left the States in 2009 and came back to Ireland. And after that I kind of worked remotely for a variety of firms until 2017. When I took my first on-site job in about 8 years. And during that time, I really struggled with working from home and built up some ways to really make working from home a really nice thing and a really good thing to do. I thought I'd share some of my techniques about how everything works for me so that you guys can really get to grips with working from home. So my tip number one is to have a morning schedule and stick to it. So for me, that means getting up at the same time every day, which is typically around 7 a.m. Not super early, but it's what I did when I was working on site. So then I'll get up, I'll have my shower, I'll shave, obviously brush my teeth, do everything else I need to do, and I'll also do my hair. So that means that I'm presentable in such a way that I would normally be if I was going to the office and with everybody else. And the key to this is to put your brain into the mindset of actually being different from your normal everyday Saturday, which I typically won't do my hair. I won't necessarily shave on a Saturday or Sunday. I only do that when I'm actually going to work. And to this kind of trains your brain to know that there's something different about the days when you're working. So you can treat it differently even if you're not going into the office. Yeah, so for me, my hair it gets out of control. So if you ever see me without, and there's a couple of videos where it's been a Saturday or Sunday, and you'll see me with absolutely crazy hair. Especially when it got longer during the COVID crisis where I couldn't get to a salon to get my hair done. My wife would obviously like me to get my hair done more often than I do, so sometimes it does get out of control. So I find a little bit of clay or holding gel really holds it down and makes me look a little bit more professional. And I'll get into why that's more important as we get into some of the later tips. So tip 2 for me is go in the same vein. Dress as if you're going into the office every day. And this may sound strange because you're not leaving your house. You may be tempted just to get up and work in your pajamas, work from your bed, like just dress in a ratty t-shirt and ratty slacks or pajamas. And no, that's not what you should do. Really, you need to be training your brain that when you're getting up, you're focused on actually getting work done. This allows you to really not get so distracted and actually makes you much more productive. So for me, this typically means I'll get up, I'll put on a pair of slacks, I'll put on socks, I'll put on shoes, I'll put on a dress shirt, and I'll take pride in the fact that I look good when I go to work. And this really gets your brain in that business mode, right? Your brain says, you look at yourself in the mirror and you look different than you'd look on a regular day when you're not working. And it really helps train your brain and trick your brain into really believing that this is a different, even though you might not be leaving the house, that this day is different from days where you don't do this. So tip 3 for me is have a separate space where all you do in that space is work. And currently I'm very lucky in that I have a really nice office where I have loads of space to set up my screens and set up my computers to work. But that wasn't always the case. Sometimes for me it's just been a corner of a room, a corner of a bedroom, a corner of a kitchen. But it's really important that when you're in that corner, all you're doing is working. You're not trying to check out the latest Reddit posts. You're not trying to check out the latest YouTube or watch Netflix in that space. All you do is work. And this, once again, trains your brain so that when you get into that space, you're in that work mode. And my mantra here when you're working from home is work when you're working and don't work when you're not. I've definitely fallen into the trap before where I've just worked from the couch, where I hang out with my wife or I hang out with my family. And when you do that, a lot of times you never don't work. And even when you are working, you may not be fully focused. So your work just tends to bleed into your life completely. And you feel like you're always working and you never have any time that you're not working. And that leads to severe burnout and it's a big problem. Yeah, burnout is bad. So tip 4, make sure you maintain the engagement with your team. And I know working from home, it's very tempted to hide behind those messenger apps like Slack or Google Chat or whatever chat app you're using and never actually have FaceTime with your team. And that can really spiral out of control. It can get out of control where maybe you haven't seen anybody in your team for days, but you really got to fight against that. And I'm not saying everything should be a meeting, but on the other side of that is if something takes more than 2 or 3 messages back and forth, just get them on the video chat. See your team. Like, we're really lucky in today's day and age where we have companies like Zoom and Microsoft Teams and with Google Hangouts where getting a video chat together is free and really easy. And if you don't have a webcam on your computer, just use your phone. Every phone has a camera on it these days. Also, getting that face-to-face contact with your team really improves that team communication and bonding. We're social animals. Over millions of years of evolution, we've been trained to recognize body language. And when you lose that, you lose over 75% of all communication. One of the things I've found that's been very, very useful for me and my team has been to have always-on war rooms. Basically, group chats that are always on, so your team can join them and drop in and out of them as needed, where things are discussed and you really can get that exhaust learning, where you can overhear other people talking about things that you may not even know you need to know about, but you need to know about them when they're discussed. And this is something you really lose from the on-site office experience. It's very, very important, and it's very hard to replicate that over chat. Chats stream by and people just don't pay attention. They may look at 1 or 2 chats and think that they know what they're talking about. And if you're having just siloed conversations, they're good, but having that in a team chat in a team window is much, much better. So tip 5 for me is very important as well. And it's kind of the corollary to tips 1 through 3. And that's to change yourself and change out of your work clothes when you're not working. So for example, I'll wake up on the weekend, I don't wake up at 7, I wake up a little bit later. I'll brush my teeth, but I probably won't shave or do my hair. I definitely won't put on a dress shirt. And then when I'm done for the day at work, whenever that is, I'll always change out of the work clothes that I was working in. And this really trains your brain to really realize that there's a difference, even though you're at home, there's a difference for you when you're working versus when you're not. And once again, that's very important, is to work when you're working and don't work when you're not working. If you want to watch Netflix during the day, or if you want to take an hour break and you do that, try to get out of where you are. Don't want to do that while you're working. Maybe even change your clothes if you're doing that and get back into your clothes when you're going back to work. It sounds strange, and maybe it sounds like a lot of effort, but it really, really helps get you into that mindset that when you're working, you're actually working. And when you're not working, you're free to do whatever you want. But really, really focus on that. And I can speak from experience that I've fallen into the trap where I've felt like I'm working all the time. I've worked from my bed because maybe I wasn't even on video calls all the time. But really try and treat work from home just as if you were in an office, and try and bring those benefits of the office to your work from home environment and to your teams. And I really think you'll be far, far more successful doing these things than when you don't. Now, I really hope this helped. This is what helps me. There's some other things I'd like to discuss, but I will definitely cover those in a future video. All right, signing off from the Florida Murphys, this is Brian.